19th century, a man set foot on African soil, driven not only by the spirit of exploration, but by a deep faith in God's mission. David Livingstone, a Scottish missionary and explorer, would leave an indelible mark on Africa and the world. Born on March 19, 1813, in Scotland, Livingstone grew up in a poor, devout Christian family. He worked in a cotton mill from the age of 10, balancing long hours of labor with a thirst for knowledge. It was during these formative years that he felt called to serve as a missionary. Fueled by a desire to spread the gospel, Livingstone studied medicine and theology, preparing for a future of both healing and evangelism. His heart was set on Africa, where he believed people had yet to hear the message of Christ. In 1841, Livingstone arrived in Southern Africa as a missionary with the London Missionary Society. Unlike many missionaries of his time, Livingstone believed in engaging with the local communities, learning their languages, and respecting their cultures. His primary goal, to bring the gospel while also opposing the slave trade that ravaged the continent. Livingstone traveled extensively through Southern and Central Africa, often during harsh conditions and illness. His greatest passion became not only spreading the word of God, but also discovering new routes that would open up Africa for trade, hoping this would help eradicate the slave trade. In 1855, Livingstone made one of his famous discoveries, the mighty Victoria Falls, known locally as Moisoatonia, meaning the smoke that thunders. Livingstone was awestruck by its beauty. He named it after Queen Victoria, but also acknowledged the awe of God's creation in such a majestic sight. His journey to Victoria Falls exemplified Livingstone's dual calling, exploration and evangelism. As he explored deeper into the heart of Africa, his writings and stories captured the imagination of the world, helping to bring Africa and its people to the attention of the Western world. Livingstone faced great personal challenges during his life. He battled tropical diseases, spent years away from his family, and often struggled to find support for his work. Yet he remained resolute in his faith and his mission. In 1873, David Livingstone died in Zambia, kneeling in prayer. His body was returned to Britain while he was buried in Westminster Abbey, but his heart, quite literally, remained in Africa, buried under a tree at the site of his death. David Livingstone's life was faith in action. His work not only opened up Africa to the world, but also planted the seeds of Christianity across the continent. His legacy endures in the ongoing fight against slavery, the continued spread of the gospel, and the respect for cultures he so deeply valued. David Livingstone, a man who lived for God, for Africa, and for the vision of a better future for all.